I'm sorry. Oh, I haven't said it.
Hello?
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 Yes.
This is Cheyenne.
Okay. We haven't quite
This is
started yet, so just be patient, okay? Who are you here to see?
Nope. Joseph Robert Melton.
Okay, we'll get to him. In the meantime, would you mute yourself?
Would I greet myself?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Cheyenne Clark. My birthday is September 12th, 2000.
Okay, until we get to Mr. Melton, could you mute yourself, please?
Oh, me and myself, of course, yeah.
Thank you. Hello, what's your name?
Christopher Bejarano.
No, my name is Cheyenne Clark.
Mr. Valorano, you are charged with resisting arrest, obstruction, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Looks like you're going to be in custody for a while, serving a sentence. Bond is set at $100. The Tucson City Public Defender is appointed to represent you. Video review is scheduled for January 7th at 1:45. It may, however, be shifted to a non-transport review, and that would be January 24th at 2:30. Okay, you're excused.
And Your Honor, this is the Spanish interpreter. The list does not indicate any Spanish speakers, but I don't know if that's been verified.
Can the jail verify no Spanish speakers?
If I don't agree with these charges, that's something I would full court, right?
Can the jail verify whether or not they're Spanish speakers? Well, I can't hear an answer because they're muted.
Okay.
Can the jail verify no Spanish speakers?
No Spanish speaker, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. The interpreter is excused.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good night.
Night. Ma'am, what is your name?
Cassidy Gilbert.
One moment. Ms. Gilbert, you are charged with domestic violence, aggravated assault, and another domestic violence charge whose reading I will omit. The state is recommending that I hold you on a $15,000 bond with pretrial services supervision if posted. At a minimum, I am going to order that you have no contact of any kind with Hannah Gilbert or Candace Gilbert. No contact means no face-to-face contact, no calling, texting, emailing, using third parties, letters or notes, social media, etc. And stay away from their respective homes and workplaces. You are also not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, no driving without a license, and no firearms or other weapons, and do not commit any acts of domestic violence. We will hear from the defense as to the bond request.
Honor, she's a lifelong resident of Tucson and has ties to the community. She has no prior felony convictions. She was given a bond amount yesterday on some charges that seem to be very similar incident to this. I mean, it seems like this is almost new charges as to something that happened right before the allegations of what happened yesterday. In other words, what she's here for tonight appears to be part of the same incident as what she was here for yesterday. So yesterday she got a $2,500 bond. She already has that. This is being charged as a separate case, so I'd ask the court to set $2,500 on this one as well.
All right, we'll hear from the state.
Good evening, Judge. Thank you. I asked for the $15,000 bond for a couple of reasons. First of all, the DUI, she had the kid in the car, which concerns the state. But particular to these allegations, you know, we obviously don't have a lot of information about what occurred. But the fact that the fight/beating took place over 15 to 20 minutes and the injuries suffered by the victim concern the state. So I'd ask the court to impose some bond in this case. Thank you.
Amen. Why am I seeing? One moment.
I don't have a job either. I was covered. I was
Don't. Thank you. Bond is set in the amount of $5,000. Pretrial services supervision if posted. Next court date is January 7th, and that will be at 1:30 p.m. You're excused. Oh, and the public defender's appointed.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello, sir. What's your name?
Alexander Trail.
Hold on. I'm sorry. What?
Alexander Trail.
No, that's the one from this morning. Even right, ho. Okay, just a
Yeah.
minute. Mr. Trejo, you're charged with 2 counts of possession of a narcotic drug and promoting prison contraband. We're gonna order no alcohol or illegal drugs, and you are already in custody on a felony and also an out of county matter. We will hear, well, let's see what the recommendation is. State's asking for a $10,000 bond. We'll hear from the defense.
Your Honor, he's lived in Tucson for 7 years and has ties to the community. He's currently connected with Law Firm Terra for behavioral health services. He also has been living in a sober living facility and just got a job, so he would like to be able to post bond and get back to his sober living facility and his new job. I'd ask that you set the bond at $2,500.
He's already been held on $80,000 worth of bonds, correct?
I'm not aware of that. I don't know.
I'm looking at his name on the jail roster. In any case, we'll hear from the state.
Judge, I think the court's correct. He's already held on a lot of different bonds. I picked $10,000. That was his most recent case and the lowest bond he has. So I just asked the court to impose some bond to get him time credit in this case.
5,000, January 7th, 1:30 PM, public defender appointed. No alcohol or drugs. Stay away from the. No, we'll scratch that. You're excused.
What is it?
Well, so
Hello, what's your name?
Tiffany Hull.
You were charged with violating a court order. I will order that you have no contact with Erica Adame. No contact means you are not to have face-to-face personal contact. You are not to call, text, email, write letters to, use third parties, use social media or any other form of contact. And you are to stay away from her home and workplace. And we will add no alcohol or illegal drugs. So if I released you, are you going to abide by these orders? Apparently, there's an injunction against harassment that's in effect.
Yes, Your Honor.
If you violate, and I see you again in that chair, you're not going to be going anywhere for a while. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. You are released with these conditions, and your court date is January 28th at 8:30 a.m. and that will be at Sarita Municipal Court. You're excused. Hello, what's your name?
Benjamin Buio.
Okay. Okay, your charge from today, sir, is criminal trespass. And you had a similar charge from April of 2022. Looks like you were represented by counsel, which who withdrew, and the bond that was forfeited, that was posted for you in the older case was forfeited. Because you did not appear at court. Bond, now in this case is set at 250. You are not to return to the incident location, no contact with the alleged victim. And we're appointing the city public defender to represent you. Video review is scheduled for January 7th at 1:45. It is possible that could be changed to a non-transport review, January 24th of next year, if that happens, 9 o'clock. You're excused. Hello, what is your name?
Samantha Leonz.
Okay. Ms. Leonz, you're charged with domestic violence assault with intent or knowingly causing injury and domestic violence disorderly conduct. I'm going to order that you have no contact with Contaro Richards. No contact means no face-to-face contact, no calling, texting, emailing, writing letters or notes, using social media or third parties to contact him. And stay away from his home and workplace. You do get a one-time return visit with a law enforcement escort to get your personal belongings. Don't commit any acts of domestic violence. And I am going to release you from custody with these conditions. Your court date at Tucson City Court is January 28th at 3 p.m. You're excused.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. Sir.
Hello. Hello. What is your name?
Bye, sir.
Okay. What is your first name, sir? I'm not understanding you. Spell it.
BINC Pepsi, AJMP. Come on.
Okay, sir, you need to speak clearly. I don't understand the words you're saying hardly. What is your name?
Give me a bit of him. Hammer.
Did somebody just tell me what this man is
I'm
saying?
sorry. Yeah, I know this is down.
Okay, if you're not going to speak clearly, I'm going to mark you as having refused to give your name, and you will be seen tomorrow morning. You're excused.
Well, I'm going home.
Okay. Good evening. What's your name? You are muted. I need to hear you. What's your name?
Oh, Noor
Say again.
Ali Abdi.
Got it. Thank you. You are charged with 2 counts of aggravated driving under the influence. We are going to order that you not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and that you not drive without a valid driver's license. 2 counts. The state is recommending a $20,000 bond. We will hear from defense counsel.
Your Honor, he's lived in Arizona for 20 years and has ties to the state. He's currently employed. He supports himself as well as some of his younger siblings. He has no violent criminal history. I'd ask that the court set the bond at $5,000.
We'll hear from the state.
Judge, my primary concern is he's on felony probation for DUI, so I'm asking for a $20,000 bond.
All right, thank you. Contact your assigned probation officer on the first working day following your release. I'm setting bond in the amount of $5,000. Your next court date is January 7th at 1:30, and the public defender is appointed to represent you. You're excused. Hello, what's your name?
My name's Matthew Brian Beam, sir.
All right. Let's see what we've got here. Looks like you've got a couple of matters. Felony charge is domestic violence, aggravated assault. I'm going to order that you have no contact with Anna Howard. Stay away from her work, her home and workplace. You are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and don't possess any firearms or other weapons. Do not commit any acts of domestic violence. No contact, by the way, means no face-to-face contact, no calling, texting, emailing, using social media, third parties, letters or notes. State's asking for a $50,000 bond. We'll hear from the defense.
Your Honor, one of the concerns in the pretrial services report was there possibly not being alternate housing away from the victim. He reports that he has a home in Green Valley that he can live at and reside apart from the alleged victim. He's currently working full-time. He's a 2 on the FTA scale. He's connected with COPE for his behavioral health needs. He does have an appointment there next week. He takes the injections for his mental health. He'd like to be able to bond out and get that injection next week. I'd ask that the court set the bond at $10,000.
Thank you. We'll hear from the state.
Judge, I'm asking for a $50,000 bond, primarily based on the risk he poses to the victim and the continual risk. I'll note she objects to his release. I have concerns about their housing. I have concerns about the allegations in the interim complaint involving strangulation, which has a high lethality risk. And I point the court to Mr. Beam's prior criminal history, which is violent and significant. He was in prison for a significant amount of time beginning in 2007. I'd ask the court to look at the nature of that charge and that conviction when considering setting the bond. I'm asking for $50,000. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, 50,000 it is. Pretrial services it posted. Next court date, January 7th, 1:30, public defender appointed. And you have a misdemeanor charge as well. Take a look at that. You have been charged with resisting arrest. Bond on the misdemeanor is set in the amount of $250. Attorney William Parvin is appointed to represent you. And video review is scheduled for December 30th at 1 p.m. You're excused. Hello, what's your name?
Arlene Guillermo Bernal.
Okay, I'm sorry, state that again.
Arlene Guillermo Bernal.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, so you've got more than one matter here. Felony charges are possession of narcotics and possession of dangerous drugs, possession of paraphernalia. The state's recommendation in that, on those charges is release to pretrial services. Cooperate with them. Also, no alcohol or illegal drugs. Do not return to the location of the alleged incident. Your next court date is January 17th, and that will be at 1:30 p.m. And the public defender is appointed to represent you. And also, let's see, there is a recommendation for Smart Court. Smart Court is January 6th at 9. And is the defense waiving time, by the way?
Yes.
All right, so the preliminary hearing is going to be February 11th then at 1:30. Public defender appointed, okay, it's approved. You also have some charges out of Santa Cruz County, trespassing, drug paraphernalia, possession of narcotics. Apparently Santa Cruz wants you held on a $20,000 bond. Here we go. Well, I'm not really sure why they want a $20,000 bond. I'll set it half that, 10,000. Review date, January 28th, 9 AM. You have a matter out of Tucson City Court. You were charged back in August with possession of drug paraphernalia, and you failed to appear. I'll note the other hold. I'm going to release you on this Tucson matter. I am going to appoint the city public defender to represent you, though. Court date is January 23rd. 2 PM. Okay, you're excused.
Thank you.
Si no tengo fuera.
Hello, what's your name?
Davis?
Davis.
Yes, just Davis.
Check. Hold on. Sorry? Oh, close. I thought the date was for close.
No, it is in their office.
Okay, thank you. All right. I'm sorry, your name is Chelsea Davis?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. You've got more than one matter. You're charged with possession of narcotic drugs, theft of means of transportation, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Let's see. Recommendation is I relate to the supervision of pretrial services. It'll be January 17th at 1:30. No alcohol or illegal drugs, and do not return to the location of the alleged incident. And cooperate with pretrial services.
Good.
Okay. You also have an arrest warrant out of Pima County Justice Court on a domestic violence case, domestic violence assault. You are represented by Peter Gutierrez. The judge in that case wants me to hold you on a $2,499 bond. I'm gonna hold you on $1,000 on that. And you're gonna be seen on December 30th at 1 o'clock on video. And you also have a charge of driving under the influence, DUI drugs, refusal to provide your true name, and false reporting to law enforcement. That case, 1500, December 30th, 1 p.m., and you're represented by Mr. Gutierrez on that one as well. No alcohol or drugs. No contact with alleged victim. Stay away from the incident location. And you have some matters in Tucson City Court. You were charged back in October of 2021 with trespassing and shoplifting. You were at one time represented by the city public defender. You were also charged with another shoplifting and possession of drug paraphernalia. Oh, looks like you're on probation. And there is a petition to revoke your probation. Failure to complete counseling and failure to remain law abiding. We'll note a denial. We will reappoint the public defender to represent you on these matters. And we'll set a video review date for January 6th. And that'll be at 1:45. It is possible that they may get turned into a non-transport review. If so, that would be February 4th at 10 a.m. Okay, that's it. You're excused. Hello, what's your name?
Credential, floors.
Okay, thank you. You are charged with shoplifting, possession of a narcotic drug, and possession of a dangerous drug. We're going to order that you not possess or consume any alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs, and that you stay away from all Walmart stores, no contact with any alleged victims. You are released to the supervision of pretrial services. And your court date is going to be January 27th. I'm sorry, January 17th. Not the 27th, the 17th at 1:30, and the public defender is appointed to represent you. And we're gonna schedule you into smart court. I'll be January 6th, 9 o'clock. Is the defense waiving time on this one?
Yes.
Okay, we'll set the preliminary hearing then for February 11th at 1:30. Okay, you're excused.
Yes.
Something else? Oh, I did.
Listen.
100. Hello, what's your name?
Vanessa McEn.
Okay, thank you. Okay, you got a couple matters. You're charged with aggravated assault with a dangerous instrument, aggravated assault, temporary substantial disfigurement. State's asking for $25,000 bond with pretrial services supervision if posted. At a minimum, you are not to have any kind of contact with the alleged victims. Stay away from the incident location. No alcohol or drugs, and no firearms or any other weapons. We'll hear from the defense as to the bond request.
Your Honor, she's a lifelong resident of Tucson and has ties to the community. It appears that she has one prior felony conviction for a nonviolent offense. I'd ask that the court set the bond in this matter at $10,000.
I'm gonna set the bond in the amount of $25,000. Your next court date is January 7th at 1:30, and the public defender is appointed to represent you. Your other matter is a warrant on a shoplifting matter at Pima County Justice Court. $500 bond on that. You're gonna be seeing on video on Monday, the 30th at 1:30. Attorney Adam Waters represents you. Please contact your assigned probation officer the first working day following release. You're excused.
Melton. Sorry.
Hello, what's your name?
My name's Joseph Melton.
Mr. Melton, you are charged with domestic violence, aggravated assault, deadly weapon. State's recommendation that I hold you on a $20,000 bond with pretrial services. There is a Cheyenne class on the call. We'll hear from her.
Hello.
Hello, go ahead. Identify yourself first.
Okay, my name is Cheyenne Class. My birthday is September 12th, 2000, and I am here testifying.
Do you have a position as to whether this gentleman should be released or not, or any conditions of release?
Your Honor, just currently, I have filed paperwork for child custody and child support, which have not yet been served, because we've been unable to locate him to have him served. I don't want any personal contact with him or my grandparents or my mother's house, because we're just frightened that he might threaten us. I do have a police report number, and I have a child support case number as well.
Okay, those I don't need. You want
Okay.
no contact? What do your grandparents have anything to do with this case?
Yes, Your Honor, I do live with my grandparents currently. I would just rather it be a public meetup instead, like my grandparents or my mother or his Parents come and pick her up instead. I was looking for something more of like a supervised visit kind of thing
With the dog.
with my daughter. Yeah.
All right, I am gonna order that he have no contact with you, and that includes no face-to-face contact, no calling, texting, emailing, using third parties or social media, uh, writing letters or notes. As to child custody, that is outside of my jurisdiction. You need to go to Superior Court on that matter. And as for your grandparents, he is, I'm also ordering that he not go to your home or workplace. If you live with them, then of course that's their uh, home as well. As to no contact with him, if he's harassing them, they can go to court and request an injunction against harassment. But my order right now is no contact with you. Also,
Okay.
no firearms or other weapons, no acts of domestic violence, and no alcohol or illegal drugs. We'll hear from the defense as to the $20,000 bond request.
Your Honor, he has no prior felony convictions. He's a 2 on the FTA and the NCA scale. He's lived in Tucson for 15 years and has ties to the community, and he's also currently employed. For all those reasons, particularly the lack of criminal history, I ask that the court set the bond at $2,500.
Okay. Would the prosecutor like to speak?
Judge, I don't have a lot to add. Thank you. I'm requesting the $20,000 based on the nature of the offense. I believe he's a continual risk to the victim, the use of a weapon or threatening use of a weapon concerns the state. The court's already imposed the no contact order. I just want to affirm that. Thank you.
$20,000 pretrial services supervision if posted. The public defender is appointed. Your next court date, sir, is January 7th at 1:30. And the other conditions I've mentioned. You're excused.
Navarro. Navarro.
Hello.
Hello.
Excuse me, what's your name?
Joseph Navarro.
Yeah. You've got more than one matter, sir. Felony charges are possession of narcotic drug, possession of dangerous drug, and possession of uh, drug paraphernalia. State is recommending that I release you the supervision of pretrial services, cooperate with them. No alcohol or illegal drugs, stay away from the incident location. Contact your assigned probation officer on the first working day following release. Smart court is also recommended. That'll be January 6th at 9. Is the defense waiving time for the preliminary hearing?
Yes.
February 11th at 1:30, and the public defender is appointed. The other matter is misdemeanor case in Tucson City Court. And let me review that. Okay, misdemeanor charges in city court are domestic violence assault with injury and domestic violence disorderly conduct. In order that you not commit any acts of domestic violence. Victim is okay with contact with you. So that's not an issue. You are released. You're to contact your assigned probation officer first working day following release, which in your case is Monday. Court date is January 28th, 3 o'clock, and that will be at Tucson City Court. You're excused.
Thank you.
Osborne. Have a seat up there. Up there. I'm pretty sure.
Hello, what's your name?
Shelby Osborne.
Okay, one moment. Mr. Osborne, you have an arrest warrant out of Pima County Superior Court on a trespassing charge. States recommending that I release you to the supervision of pretrial services. And we will do that, cooperate with pretrial services. Don't have any contact with the alleged victim and stay away from the incident location. Public defender is appointed and your court date is January 3rd at 1:30. You have some misdemeanor cases in Tucson City Court. You were charged today with criminal trespass and with shoplifting. That's from today. You previously were charged back on September 3rd with shoplifting as well. And apparently you didn't make your court date on December 19th, and they said in order to show cause while an arrest warrant shouldn't be issued for you. And same thing, this one is from September 29th, a shoplifting and a trespassing charge. And you were represented by the city public defender. You want to tell me why you didn't come to court when you were supposed to and stay in touch with your attorney?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I didn't know I had court.
Then why do you think you had an attorney appointed for you?
I didn't even know that.
Well, now you do know it, sir. Um, I'm going to reappoint the public defender to represent you. And we're gonna keep the current court date, January 7th, 2025 at 2:30. You'll get paperwork with that court date on it. Make sure you're there.
All right.
Right.
Sorry.
You're excused.
Just.
Good evening. What's your name?
Joseph Sanchez.
Thank you, Mr. Sanchez.
Mhm.
Charged with attempted armed robbery.
Mhm.
3 counts of it. 2 counts of kidnapping and unlawful flight from a law enforcement vehicle. You have a Department of Corrections hold. I'm going to order that you not have any contact with the alleged victims. You are not to go to any Jack in the Box restaurant, no alcohol or drugs, and you're not to possess any firearms or other weapons. The thing that I hold you on a $75,000 bond. We will hear from the defense.
Your Honor, he's a lifelong resident of Tucson with ties to the community and is currently employed. The biggest thing is that he has the DOC hold, so he's not going anywhere, regardless of what amount of bond is imposed tonight. I'd ask that the court set the bond in this matter at $25,000.
Hear from the state.
Judge, I'm asking the court to impose a $75,000 bond. I'm not really sure Mr. Sanchez can be considered a lifelong resident of Tucson because he spent the last 14 years in prison for armed robbery. He's been on parole for less than 3 months, and now he's back at it again. And Judge, I just argue to the court the danger and the brazenness in the armed robbery that he's alleged to have committed. He went into a restaurant with multiple people working, but also people sitting there eating, and threatened them all. He's no stranger to this type of activity. He poses a danger to the community. I'm asking for $75,000. Lastly, I know there's a DOC hold, but those often expire during the pendency of a felony case. And then the only thing left holding him is whatever bond the court imposes today. So I am asking for the $75,000, please.
All right, thank you. Bond is set in the amount of $75,000 with the other conditions I mentioned. Your next court date is January 7th at 1:30, and the public defender is appointed. You're excused.
Valencia. Valencia. Let's see. Let's see.
Hello, ma'am.
Good evening, sir. What's your name?
Manuel Valencia.
You are charged with aggravated driving under the influence and with possession of drug paraphernalia. Who order no alcohol or illegal drugs and don't drive without a valid driver's license. state's recommending that I hold $10,000 bond with pretrial services supervision if posted. And we'll hear from the defense.
Your Honor, he's a lifelong resident of Tucson and has ties to the community. I'd ask that you set the bond at $2,500.
We'll hear from the state.
I don't have anything to add to my written recommendation, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you. Bond is set in the amount of $5,000. Public defender appointed. Court date is January 7th at 1:30. And let's see. Got another case. Let me correct this. 30. You have an arrest warrant out of South Tucson City Court on a disorderly conduct case from last year. I will note the felony hold. I'm going to release you on the misdemeanor with a court date of January 14th at 10 a.m. South Tucson City Court. Okay, that's it. You're excused.
Mr. Valencia. Valencia, have a seat up there. Have a seat up there. Please.
Hello, what's your name?
Eric Williams.
Okay. You have an arrest warrant out of Kingman Justice Court. Charges or underlying charges are trafficking in stolen property and narcotic drug possession. And they are requesting a $4,000 bond.
So how much would that actually be to?
We'll set the bond at 4,000. You're going to be seen on January 28th at 9. You also have a shoplifting charge from today. We'll order no contact with the alleged victim. Stay away from the incident location. $500 bond. I'll note the other hold. Attorney William Parvin is appointed to represent you. You're going to be seen on Monday at 1 p.m. Pima County Justice Court on video. You're excused. Good night, everyone.
Thanks. Good night.
Night, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Say happy Hanukkah.